Hello guys, I'm just trying to... Oh, it's getting so late already, I've got to get some food soon. Okay, you're going to stay. I have the laptop sitting atop a cooling fan. There's the term, isn't it? Not referred to for some while, so lack of sleep, please excuse me. What the war against the bed bugs isn't going well either. What was there like much bigger things going on? The desk, the cooling fan in turn is sitting atop the there's another term. I'm trying to think what the other term is. But anyway, sitting atop my duvet. So yeah, because I'm in an awkward position. Then I'm not sure why I'm stabbing my foot with my walking stick, but yeah. Reach over. Sorry. Hopefully it is not too dark. I just wanted to quickly show you something. Well, not so quickly, but I need to sort some food out soon. But yeah, it's 2:43 p.m. It is the 15th of September 2023, and maybe 3-4 weeks ago, maybe sometime before I went away to Wales, when I purchased this game from a YMCA charity shop in Northfield, which is Birmingham, close to Selly Oak. So you've probably heard of Selly Oak and Bourneville, made from the chocolate bars, the Cadbury family. So it is not far, even by via bus. It is not a too far journey to get to Northfield. If you're on Bristol Road, it is very easy because it's just a straight line pretty much. So the YMCA charity shop, they're inside the shopping mall. They tend to have a lot of board games, and I was browsing, as I say, a few weeks ago, I guess, and I think because I normally, do a certain plot a certain path, unless a lot of people looking at the DVDs or something, and of course then I'll come back to them later. But so I was toward the end, I was doing a sort of semicircle, and I saw the board games, and I saw Paul Eddington's face. I thought, hang on, what is going on here? Let me just find somewhere to put my walking stick, because it keeps getting in the way. It's like an umbrella; it always gets in the way until you need it, and even then it's annoying to have. But yeah, this is. I think it was on the middle shelf, maybe top shelf. But yeah, I saw Paul Eddington. I thought, this is interesting. I'm a big Paul Eddington fan. And he's obviously created in the spirit of Yes Minister and Yes Prime Minister. That's the theme. It is called Paul Eddington's Hilarious Political Send-Up, the party game, because the characters of Margaret Thatcher, I'm not sure who that is that David Davis? Although he's got a yellow tie, which today might mean he's a Liberal Democrat, so I don't know. But I'm not sure if they were thinking about that back then. And some guy looks vaguely familiar. It was only £3.50, and I thought, wow. I did not even do any research to see whether or not, it'd be a similar price on eBay, because first of all, £3.50 is such a low price for anything these days. So, and brand new, obviously, this would have been at least £20 or so, and then you've got to adjust for inflation. But, as I say, I'm a big Paul Eddington fan, and I thought, you might never see this again, or it might be a while before you see it in a charity shop. I thought I should definitely purchase it. So I did not check to see whether or not the pieces were there. It was all done up. So I still haven't taken the sellotape off, which is going to tear the box. So unless I make an incision there with some scissors, that's probably the best thing. But yeah, sellotape is such an annoying thing, as convenient as it can be. So anyway, yeah, weeks ago I did do a bit of research. There was somebody mentioned it on a website that was specialising in board game talk. I think they said that they really enjoyed the game. So it's kind of what you'd imagine. You try to win elections, I think, basically. You have to earn ribbons or rosettes. Do I have any scissors with me? Oh dear. Don't want to ruin it. Let's see if I can take some sellotape off without tearing the box. Do it very slowly. Oh, it's lost its stickiness a bit, maybe. That may help. Yeah, oh okay, no, it's going smoothly. It's lost a lot of its stickiness. I might actually have to keep the sellotape. Oh, it's going to tear the bottom if I put too much, so thankfully I stopped at the right moments, more or less. But yeah, let's now try the other side. So yeah, Yes Minister and Yes Prime Minister, they're political satire, but in general that they are, as Stephen Fry himself was saying, they're just master. The acting or script writing, it's just, to use a more colloquial expression, top notch. But riding into it without colloquial expressions, you can say all sorts of things. Oh, here we go. Dun dun dun. I mean, yeah, the acting, Derek Folds, Nigel Hawthorne, Paul Eddington, three main cast members, yeah, that they recently brought it back, well, about 10 or so years ago, with a guy from the Thin Blue Line who's good in the Thin Blue Line, but he just didn't work and the guy they had playing Bernard, I'm sorry, I just could not take to him at all. And one of the original script writers was writing, and you could tell, you could see the attempt to recreate the magic, but really they should have just created a new show. It was pointless. I mean, why does it have to be called Yes Minister or Yes Prime Minister? We've done that already with legendary actors and the great script writing. It's just, and this was around the time of the EU votes, a bit before, a bit after, so we're talking about Europe a lot, or the European Union specifically, maybe. What's his name? Is it David Haig or Daniel Haig or something? The guy from the Thin Blue Line. But he's a good actor, but he just wasn't work. They should have given him something completely new, or found different actors if that was also part of the problem. But yeah, I mean, the whole point is Yes Minister and Yes Prime Minister have inspired. I mean, inspired me to create my own version, and I have to say here I have created one. I've called one of the two versions Yes Minister and Yes Prime Minister, so I'm guilty of doing that myself. Although not necessarily the end type. I've been working on, changed it quite a bit. But the point being, they've inspired. They inspire you to create new content. And as I said, there's nothing wrong with creating your own version, Yes Minister, Yes Prime Minister, but in a case when it's not, like a small YouTube project with a few people, but it's, obviously I'm not trying to ride on Derek Folds, Paul Eddington, Anthony J, etc., etc. I'm saying this is my own version. It's a tribute. I'm saying this is what you've inspired me to do. Thank you very much. But the version, the BBC revival, they called it a revival, I think, or reboot, whatever. It's all about grabbing your attention. Look, do you remember Yes Minister? It's back. But it is not back. It cannot be back. The original cast members cannot be in it, and the chemistry just was not the same. And so my point being, when I created my versions, they create. There's a point when they become something new, like when you're creating fiction, and you borrow a character, but eventually they become your own character. They have traits, that you've been inspired. Like with the New Gods in DC, they were inspired by Marvel characters once. They were the other way around. Darkseid was inspired by Thanos. I cannot remember now. But anyway, because Jack Kirby was who worked at both DC and Marvel, if I have the correct guy. So I have called some versions Yes Minister and Yes Prime Minister, but more as a placeholder, and but thematically very, very similar. And as I say, I'm very pleased with them. So it's me saying thank you for the inspiration. I'm not trying to copy. I know there's absolutely no hope of copying, and I'll never attempt to recreate the magic. It is my own version, but I think with the BBC, it was too much about, same characters, just in a modern. It was silly. You should have created new characters, and you could even have referenced. Could have been set in the same continuity. They could have said, "Oh, do you remember James Hacker? Yeah, he retired the other day." Something like that. There could have been tributes essentially to the cast members, and that way. But instead, it was. As I say, I'm not against reusing names and things. It's not in and of itself wrong, but I think when it's the BBC, it's not the same as making a YouTube project or uploading a script that you created using your inspiration, the show you gave you. It was, and they made companion books for Yes Minister. think my parents bought me one. So they straight away you can see the humour, you can see it's there. But with what's his name from the Thin Blue Line, it just wasn't the same. Grimm's Inspector Grimm, wasn't it? David Haig, that's it. David Haig, yeah, David Haig. Yeah, you could just see, you could feel that he was trying to copy both cast and character. That is what I felt. Maybe it was not, but that was my impression. And so you could get a couple of laughs out of it, but that's not the same as the original Yes Minister and Yes Prime Minister, where you were laughing non-stop. And the point being, with the original material, you should have created something new. Because, as I say, it's so easy to be inspired by these comedies. But yeah, the timing was great. I was watching a Fry and Laurie clip yesterday where Paul Eddington guest stars, and they're talking about Paul Eddington's timing, funnily enough, and asking him how he rates it, and asking him how he rates his timing. But yeah, the party game rules. It's just a piece of paper, kind of, pretty much paper. When a player has accumulated 5,000 votes, that player may exchange votes from an electorate rosette or keep their votes and buy the rosettes later. Question cards. See, this is reminded me of I'm working on a politics TCG game I've been working on for some time. So there's some legal problems, because if I say I use Gordon Brown, do I have the right to use his character, etc., and how would I get permission? And Gordon Brown no longer speaks to me, we fell out. Oh no, that's Gordon Brown and Tony Blair I'm thinking of, sorry. But yeah, so this reminds me of that, because the idea is basically you win elections and all sorts of things, and you play as different characters and parties are involved. So this may give me some ideas, although I don't think so, because I think I've sort of gone beyond. I think this is quite a different game, because it's got a board. I mean, I suppose there maybe need to be a board for my politics TCG, but yeah, it's similar ideas though, maybe in some ways, but but what it just reminded me when they were saying about making speeches, because that's more loose, more sort of subjective. The speech must be 1 minute long, and a political ruffle is allowed, and it should reflect the point of view of the political party the player represents. And that's cool. That's what I was trying to do in my politics TCG game, where you have to ask people who will they vote for. So if there's somebody in the room, even not even playing the game, you speak to them and ask them what they think, just to try and make it a more expansive and realistic game. And so this is cool. Greasy poll cards. Votes are lost according to the instructions on the card picked up. Landing on the one disaster corner. If a player loses all his votes and has none on hand, then he/she trades in a constituency for 2,000 votes. If a player has no votes or constituencies, play continues. To win a general election by collecting enough votes to win a majority of constituencies. That's the objective of the game. So let's see if all the pieces are there. I'm quite confident. Got this. So yeah, I think £3.50 is really good. I think online, on eBay, and obviously you have to factor in postage, I think probably something like £5-10 was the cheapest. I'm not sure, I can't remember, but there were some up on eBay. We have a lot of pieces, because clearly it has been played with, so they're not sealed or anything. So I will need to go through that. Those are the greasy poll cards. We've got things here, 2,000 votes. Thank you very much. Let's put that back in there. Rosettes, different coloured rosettes. Maybe yellow for the Liberal Democrats, the Green Party, a die, a timer, egg timer, even though there's no egg involved. Sand timer, rather, I should say. I wondered why I was speaking nonsense, but I normally do speak nonsense, so I forget to correct myself. But these are question card. The FBI story, what's that about? So question cards. So there should, at least, even if not all the pieces are there should be enough pieces to play the game. So yeah, I'd really like to play this. This would be really cool. I know people may be turned off by the political aspect, but I think it could. Oh, there are some rosettes at the bottom which have not been pressed out of their thing. So let's go to them before looking at the game board, which I just picked up. It's another rosette. So we've got a yeah. I think we definitely have enough rosettes. I mean, I suppose you probably do need every single one, because if it gets very heated, maybe one party has 50 or 100, another party has 50 to 100. So you will need as many of each colour as possible. So here's the board. So we've got a question, speech, boo, hooray, order, resign. Sounds like the last year or so with Boris Johnson, Liz Truss evolving or devolving into Rishi Sunak, evolving or devolving into Keir Starmer maybe next year. Ban the bomb, lower wages now, higher wages. Wait, why is because he's an elitist guy. I was going to say, why is he asking for lower wages? Some of their snouts and their trough, as Sir Humphrey Appleby and James Hecker would say. So yes, a fairly, not quite elongated board, it's more rectangular than a square, but there we go. Let's see if I can show you a bit better. It's a standard fold-up design, sort of like a Monopoly board. Fairly strong, but could tear easily, so you have to be careful. So yeah, I think all the pieces are there. So that's really cool. This in there to keep that in place. And put that on there. Let's see if this sellotape will help. So I really, in the future, unfortunately I've tried so hard to make it work this year, but with so much going on, I think both my walking group and my board game group have to start next year. Same for Chasing Cars. Unfortunately, I've had to halt production. That was before COVID came along, and but thank you so much to everybody who's been applying for roles and backstage. I really appreciate it. One came through yesterday, and even though I cannot hire right now, so that's Delta. Wish it'd go away. Keep sending on new updates, and it accumulates a new one each time. Well, we want 3 updates because I keep postponing. Then it was 4 yesterday, now it's 5 updates already. Normally there are not so many Dell updates, but there seems to be quite a few lately. Anyway, let's hope this sellotape will hold up for now. But yeah, I read each and every email. I get them straight to my personal email address, and I go through. So thank you to the kind young lady who, sorry, I've forgotten your name, but you emailed indirectly via Backstage. Thank you so much for your, for giving attention to my project and taking it seriously. That means so much to me. So I've put my heart into these projects, and obviously they're done in memory of my friend Alice and for her family. So it's really appreciate the support. So much. Really means an incredible amounts to me. I cannot find the email. I must have moved it to the Chasing Cars folder already. Lisa, Thursday, spooky Outlook, isn't it? And other email providers listing the precise time at precisely 11:40 on the 14th, i.e. yesterday. Thank you, Lisa, for your cover letter and application media photos. Thank you. You sound very enthusiastic, and maybe we'll be able to work together next year potentially, or maybe able to invite you to an audition. So thank you so much. Really appreciate all of that. I'm really so disappointed to have to let you guys down at the moment, but it is at that point where if I try to push it, it will become superficial. So there's not enough stability, and it would be unfair on everyone. It would be unfair on the project as well. So I have to postpone in order to ensure that it is protected. And I look forward to working with you all in the future, or talking to you at least to say thank you for the cover letter and for applying. It's certainly been a trying year, and last year was basically all the years. But I'm working hard to get as much stability as I can. And I need to tidy up the Chasing Cars scripts. I need to sort some things out, last minute changes and stuff. But so this was £3.50 from YMCA, so that's a good bargain. I should take a photo of it next to me. That can be the thumbnail of the video. So I'll do that as soon as I stop recording. And goodbye for now. Goodbye and take care.